One of the things you'll have to do quite often in this course is find the rule or find the equation of a line. And in this video, I'll show you how to do it depending on what types of information you're given. So all we need to find the equation of a line is 2 points. As long as we have 2 points, we can find the rule. Rule and equation mean the same thing, so I tend to use them interchangeably. So here's what we'll do. If we have 2 points, we're going to label one of the points x1 and y1. So the x value, remember we label our points, we name our points by writing a number for x and a number for y. So we'll take the x from one point and the y from one point, and we'll just put a little 1 down below those letters. And then we'll take the other point and we'll label it x2 and y2. Just to show that this is the first point, we'll put little 1s here, and to show that this is the second point, we'll put little 2s by the x and y there. And then there's an equation to find slope. Remember, slope and rate of change, same thing. So the equation is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. That tells us what the a is. Once we have the a, we can find b, the initial value, because we see that b is y minus ax. And we can use either point, either x1, y1, or x2, y2, in solving for b. And then finally, we'll write the rule by replacing a and b with the numbers we just calculated, and we'll leave x and y as x and y. So let's look at an example of this. Find the rule of a line passing through the points 1, 6, and 3, 10. And just as a reminder, we write the rule of a line y equals ax plus b. And we want a number for a and a number for b. So here we go. If we have 2 points, 1, 6, and 3, 10, we're going to pick either of them and label it x1 and y1, so the x and the y from the first point. And then the second point becomes x2 and y2. So this 1 is x1, the 6 is y1, the 3 is x2, and the 10 is y2. And then we can use our equations to find a and b. So I'm just going to rewrite our 1, 6, and our 3, 10 over here. We have 1, 6, and we have 3, 10, and we've labeled them x1, y1, x2, and y2. So now that we've labeled everything, we know that slope or rate of change, a, equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So we can substitute in our x's and our y's. So we'll take y2, which is 10, so a equals 10 minus y1, which is 6, divided by x2, which is 3, minus x1, which is 1. And then let's do that subtraction. A equals 10 minus 6 is 4, and 3 minus 1 is 2. And we can leave this as 4 over 2. I tend to leave it as a fraction because when we graph, it's a little bit nicer to have our slope in fraction form. So that's what I would recommend. And let's just make a note of it over here. A equals 4 divided by 2. Now we need to find b. So I'm going to erase the work that I've just done for a because we have it written down already. And let's take a look at finding b. We also have an equation to find b. Remember that b, our initial value, is y minus ax. b equals y minus ax. And now we know what a is. We know that a is 4 over 2. So b is, and we can use either of these points, either 1, 6 or 3, 10. So I'm going to use 1, 6. And remember, this is x and this is y. So b equals our y number, 6, minus a, which is 4 over 2, times x, which is 1. And if we do 4 divided by 2 in our calculator times 1, we can sort this out. So b equals 6 minus 4 over 2 is 2. 4 divided by 2 times 1. So 6 minus 2. So b equals 6 minus 2 is 4. So we can rewrite our equation, right? Y equals ax plus b. And then we'll replace our a with 4 over 2, and we'll replace our b with 4. Let's do another example. The process is going to be exactly the same, but the numbers turn out a little bit differently. There are some negative numbers to watch out for. So let's take a look at that. So our second example, we want to find the rule of a line that goes through the points -2, 3, and 6, -1. So remember, we're going to label our points first. We'll pick one point and label it x1, y1. We'll pick the other point and label it x2, y2. The ones go together and the twos go together. So A is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So let's substitute in what we know. A is y2, -1, minus y1, 3, divided by x2, which is 6, minus x1, which is a -2. This double negative here is a little bit confusing. It's 6 minus -2. So A is -1 minus 3 is a -4 over 6 minus -2 is 8. If you want to reduce this fraction, that's okay. At this point, just don't turn it into a decimal. When we graph, it's much harder to graph if our A is in a decimal than if our A stays in a fraction. So you could write this as -1 over 2 if you wanted to. You could also just leave it as -4 over 8. I'm going to write it as -1 over 2, but your answer will turn out to be exactly the same, regardless of how you write it. So we know our A. Let's find our B. So remember, B equals y minus ax. So we have b equals y minus ax. We can pick either point for our x's and y's. Let's use the ones. Let's use this first one. So y is 3 minus a, which is a -1/2, times x, which is a -2. We have a lot of negatives going on here. So b equals 3 minus -1/2 times a -2 is a +1. And you can always put this in your calculator. If you wanted to put this in your calculator, you could type in -1 divided by 2 times -2. All right, so -1 divided by 2 times, that's what these brackets mean, -2. And if you did all of that, you would get +1. So then b equals 3 minus 1, which is 2. So here, b equals 2. Remember, y equals ax plus b. So y equals a, -1/2 x, plus b, plus 2. Let's take a look at one last example. This last example, we aren't given 2 points, but it's actually easier than if we were. So this last example says, find the rule of a line that passes through the point 6, 12 and has a rate of change of 2.5. Now, I just got done saying that we should keep our rate of change or our slopes in fraction form. In this question, we're given it as a decimal, so we can just leave it as a decimal. Remember, rate of change is slope. Slope is a. We're told what it is. We don't have to do any calculations. This question tells us that a equals 2.5. As soon as we know that a is 2.5, we can move on to solving for b. Remember, b equals y minus ax. We need an x and a y to solve for b, but we're given 1 point, right? 6, 12. Remember, this is our x and this is our y. So b equals y, which is 12, minus a, which is 2.5, times x, which is 6. So if we do this multiplication, b is 12 minus 2.5 times 6 is 15. So b is 12 minus 15, which is a negative 3. Now that we have a and b, we can write our equation. Y equals 2.5x minus 3. So whether we're given 2 points, or if we're given slope or rate of change and a point, we can find the equation of the rule.